Cardinal. Thank you for joining us on ESPN Plus, ACC Network Extra from Evans Diamond at Stu Gordon Stadium, along with Jim Darby and our ACC Network crew. Roxy Bernstein with you as the Golden Bears dropped a tough one last night. Darb 7-6. Stanford won the opening game of the series. Cal fell behind early and nearly came all the way back.
Boy, they sure did, Roxy. They dug themselves a hole in the first inning, down by 4, but they did fight back and came within literally 10 feet of tying the game in the 9th inning. So it turned out to be a heck of a ball game, but unfortunately on the wrong end of the stick for the Bears.
Game 2 of this series tonight. And for California, they will send Oliver De La Torre to the mound. As De La Torre, 5-5 on the year and a 3.75 ERA. And the junior right-hander takes on Aiden Keenan, pitching for the first time in about 2 months for Stanford. He is 0-3 with a 6.75 ERA, making his 6th start. As Stanford has been bullpenning it all season, and that's the plan tonight. Keenan, they're hoping to get about 2 out of the right-hander going for the Cardinal tonight, the junior Aiden Keenan. And then he will turn it over to the bullpen. As Stanford comes in 4 over overall in the season, 27-23. Stanford is 13-15 in the ACC. Cal is 27-25, and the Golden Bears are 10-18 in conference play.
Well, if the Bears have a advantage in this one, obviously De La Torre has been lights out for the last month and a half. He really has. He's shown that he is a top quality ACC pitcher, as has Gavin Eddy, who's going to pitch tomorrow. Aiden, on the other hand, like you said, hasn't pitched in a while, but he struggled out there when he was throwing for the Cardinal. He only pitched 18 2/3 innings, but the key stat for him, Roxy, and this is what the Bears have to be looking at, 20 walks in those 18 innings. And that's been the Bears' bugaboo all year. They're not taking advantage of the pitchers who would put them on. They rank dead last in the league in walks.
Cool moment taking place at home plate right now. The exchanging of lineup cards and brothers on opposite sides. As on the Stanford side, that is Eric Gian, their second baseman, and his younger brother, Cal freshman Kevin Gian, who was injured and out for the year when he tore his ACL early in the season. He is handing in the lineup card for Mike New and Cal. A pretty cool moment for the Gian family right now.
Boy, you're not kidding. What a thrill for their parents, and for them too.
So the Gian brothers, Kevin for Cal, Eric for Stanford, and they hail from Southern California. The Fullerton natives both went to La Mirada High School, as Eric Gian, a transfer from Columbia. And there they are, the two brothers, now with our umpiring crew. And now to be able to take a picture for the wall for mom and dad at home. And that is a really cool moment for the Gian family. And again, you and Steve talked about the rivalry. You and I have been around it for so long. But moments like this was what makes this rivalry so special, that yes, they're fierce competitors and you desperately want to beat the guy on the other side, but there's also that unique combination.
Well, what was really cool too before the game, during batting practice and infield practice, how many of the Cal and Stanford players went up to each other, shook hands, gave each other a hug. And like you're right, they don't want to lose, but on the other hand, there's a great deal of respect between these programs.
Bears take the field. Let's give you tonight's starting lineups. In first for David Esker's Cardinal, 27-23 for Stanford. They are 13-15 in ACC play. For the Cardinal tonight, it'll be Charlie Bates, the shortstop, leading it off. Batting second, the freshman sensation for the Cardinal, first baseman Teddy Tokheim. Colt McDonald will bat third. He's in center. The cleanup batter for Stanford, the DH Rentaro Sasaki, who drove in 3 last night. Eric Gian batting fifth at second base. J.J. Moran, the third baseman, sixth. Batting seventh and left, the Aussie Jimmy Nadai. Behind the plate, Nolan Stoll will bat eighth, and batting ninth and right, Brock Sell. And on the mound, it is Aiden Keenan, making his 6th start, 0-3, and a 6.75 ERA. For Stanford, it's Bates, Tokheim, McDonald, Sasaki, Gian, Moran, Nadai, Stoll, and Sell. For Mike New and the Cal Bears, 27 up, 25 down, 10-18 in the conference. And for Cal, Hideki Prather will lead it off behind the plate. Shortstop, the freshman Jet Kennedy bats second. Hitting third, Daniel Murillo at first base. The cleanup batter at third is the senior Cade Campbell. Left fielder Carl Schmidt will bat fifth. DH Lawson Olmstead will bat sixth. Hitting seventh and second is the freshman Brady Ericart. Center fielder Ethan Kadama bats 8th, and batting 9th and right, Gannon Snyder. Oliver De La Torre pitching, the junior righty, 5-5, and a 3.75 ERA. For Cal, it's Prather, Kennedy, Murillo, Campbell, Schmidt, Olmstead, Eric Hart, Kadama, Snyder.
You know, we were talking about the bases on balls that Aiden's given up. You know, everything in pitching, Roxy, is command. And you hear Mike Krukow talk about this all the time. Check out these stats. De La Torre, 74 innings pitched so far this season, only 21 bases on balls. So Oliver certainly has been in command when he's taken the mound for the Golden Bears.
Slight breeze pushing in from right on a beautiful Friday night. 72 degrees approaching first pitch as Oliver De La Torre, right-hander, gets ready to work to Charlie Bates, the sophomore for the Cardinal from Palo Alto High School, right across El Camino from Stanford, and the first pitch is popped out of play. 275, 8 homers for Bates. He has driven in 31. And the Stanford shortstop, and Bates climbs back in, slightly open with that stance, as the motion from De La Torre and the one-strike pitch on the way. And that is in there. No. Boy, it looked pretty good.
Heard a lot of groans from the Cal fans behind the plate on that one.
Not sure where it missed. 1-1. Dylan Bradley is calling the balls and strikes tonight. Not everybody in the stands. Here's the 1-1 on the way. Off the end of the bat, cued, knocked down by De La Torre, picks it up, and he has no play, an infield hit, and that's how our ball game begins. Tough break for De La Torre, and a weak comebacker just couldn't handle it.
Well, it was a squibber. It had a lot of spin on it. So I think when it hit his glove, all that spin had it, forced it out of the glove. And he tried to pick it up quickly, couldn't get the handle on it. And by that time, it was too late to get Bates.
Runner on, here is Teddy Tokheim. Freshman hitting .352, 16 homers, 43 batted in for Tokheim. Playing at first base tonight. Leadoff single, Bates being held at first by Daniel Murillo. And the pitch, and that is high, ball 1. Jose Esteras, our umpire, at first. The crew chief is Frank Flugrad out there at second. And Jeff Francis, not the former pitcher, down the line at third. 1-0, the count on Tokheim. From the set, De La Torre. He has won 4 of his last 5 starts. And he floats that one high. It's 2-0.
De La Torre, normally around 92, 93, throws a changeup, as you just saw. That was 81. And he's also got a slider that is normally around 84. His key pitch, though, is his changeup. It's an excellent pitch.
Bates leads. De La Torre from the set. Here comes the 2-0 pitch, and Tokheim lines it out to center. Hit right toward Ethan Kadama, twisting and turning with it. Makes the catch, going back to the warning track. All the way at second, Bates back to first, but what an effort by Kadama. In center field, he twisted one way, then went the other, and was still able to make the catch going back.
Boy, you hit it right on the nail there. He was twisted both ways. He was like a wide receiver going back for that. But, Roxy, that's what the toughest play for a center fielder is, the ball that's right at him. Because it's hard to judge really where, the distance it's going to go. But that was an excellent, excellent effort by Kodama and a great catch.
1 out, runner at first. Here is Colt McDonald, the center fielder. 357, 3 home runs for McDonald. De La Torre's pitch, and that's comebacker. Caught, De La Torre doubles off Bates, and the Bears are out of it in the first. Loud contact by the last 2 hitters, but 2 tremendous defensive plays. The first one by Kadama in center, and that one by the pitcher, De La Torre. 1 hit, nobody left. The Bears coming to bat. Here come the Bears, last of the first inning, as Stanford got a hit, but nothing left. No runs in the top of the first inning, and now the Bears have set their sights at Aiden Keenan, pitching for the first time in about 2 months for Stanford.
Well, Hideki Prather, Cal's leadoff hitter, had an interesting night last night. Roxy, he struck out 3 times, the Golden Sombrero, but sandwiched between those were 2 base hits. And he was the runner who unfortunately got thrown out at the plate with the tying run in the 9th inning.
Right-hander Keenan, 6'2" junior from Morgan Hill. making his 6th start of the year. He's pitched 18 2/3 innings. Here it comes, and Prather swings to the first pitch, lifts it down the right side, pushing toward the Cal bullpen, crossing into foul ground, and barreling into that side fence, and it popped out of the glove of the right fielder, Brock Sell, who is still down for the Cardinal over in the corner. And he hit that side fence hard. Now he's up on his feet.
Well, thank goodness there's padding on that wall, because you're spot on. He hit that thing going full bore.
And he was on a dead sprint over toward the right field line, and there's not much room once you cross into foul ground, and he went barreling into that side fence. It's David Esker, along with the athletic trainer for the Cardinal, going out to check on Brock Sell. It's a foul ball. It's 0-1 on Prather, and it appears Sell is okay, and Stanford getting the answers they want from Brock Sell, that he'll continue out there and right. As Sell, the freshman from Stockton, and that was a scary play, hustling and running full speed into that side fence.
Well, you know, your eyes on the ball, and you're trying to make sure you make the catch, and sometimes you lose track where that wall is. But like I said, thank goodness that there's padding there.
0-1 on Prather, leading it off. He was 2 for 5 last night. As Starbs told you, struck out 3 times. Hit a grand slam last weekend when Cal went back to Charlottesville and won 2 out of 3 for number 23 Virginia. 1-strike pitch, and that's a slider high from Keenan. Cal catcher Hideki Prather, the Bay Area native, went to Campo Lindo High School and then started at Clemson and transferred back to the Bay Area, now at Cal. Keenan's turn, the 1-1. And that is down low, 2-1 on Prather. Keenan has thrown just 18 2/3 innings this season. And again, his first outing since March 14th, when he went an inning and a third against Pitt. The 2-1. Lined out toward right center, racing back is McDonald, still going back, reaches the warning track and makes the catch. Out toward deep right center as Prather gave it a ride the other way, 1 out.
Boy, he sure did. That was out there around 365. But you can see the wind blowing in a little bit off the bay, and that ball was right into that wind. That might have held it up a little bit.
Jet Kennedy now the batter. Freshman shortstop, 325, 10 homers, and 33 batted in for Kennedy. Carlsbad native. Kennedy had a rough night at the plate last night, going 0 for 5 in the ball game. Hit 2 homers, though, against Virginia last weekend. Motion from Keenan, the pitch. And that is a slider that runs outside for a ball. 320 down the lines, 365 alleyways, 390 to straightaway center here at Evans Diamond at Stu Gordon Stadium. Stands are packed on a perfect Friday night. Kennedy got under this one. Shallow center, McDonald coming in, settles under it, and he makes the catch, and there's 2 gone.
Well, McDonald had to go about 50 feet to catch Prather's ball. He had to come in about 50 feet to get Kennedy's.
Here is Daniel Murillo, senior first baseman. 314, 11 homers for Marino, and a team best 44 driven in for Murillo. A transfer from San Francisco State, a Long Beach, California native. 2 gone here in the last of the first inning. Aiden Keenan. The pitch, and Murillo swings through a fastball. It's 0-1.
Murillo was on base 4 times last night, Roxy. Walked once, was hit by a pitch, and had 2 hits.
6'2", junior righty, Keenan. An injury-interrupted season. And Murillo chases a slider in the dirt. It's 0-2. Keenan, an academic all-ACC pick last year. Led Stanford with 24 appearances, had 5 saves and a 5.59 ERA. Working out of the bullpen for David Esker. The pitch. Murillo bounces one to short. Charlie Bates gobbles it up, straightens on to first. Murillo is out. The Bears go 1-2-3. An economical 9 pitches to get through the first for Keenan. We're through 1. Cal and Stanford, no score. of the second, no score. Stanford and Cal at Berkeley on this sensational Friday night. Rentaro Sensaki, Eric Gian, J.J. Moran. Middle third of the order for Eske and the Cardinal. Against Oliver De La Torre here in the second. As Rentaro Sensaki, DHing tonight, played first base last night. 16 homers on the year and a team best 47 driven in for Sasaki. The sophomore from Japan, who is draft eligible after this year. And the overshift on defensively for Sasaki as De La Torre kicks and fouled away by Sasaki. Drove in 3 last night, going 1 for 4 in the 7-6 Stanford win. Second baseman Ericard out there in shallow right. The shortstop Kennedy on the right side of second base. And the one-strike pitch, a mighty cut at the off-speed, and it's 0-2 on Sasaki.
I know you don't want to take the bat out of your cleanup hitter, but boy, with that shift on, all he'd have to do is just push the ball down to third base, and he could walk to first base.
Third baseman Campbell's over at short. 2-strike pitch, and that strike 3 call, top of the zone, went top rail on Sasaki, who's walking in disbelief, shaking his head, heading back to the dugout. First strikeout for De La Torre.
Great location pitch there ahead in the count by De La Torre, and was able to get the call.
Gets the high strike. Here is Eric Gian. 9 homers, hitting .327 for Gian. The junior from Fullerton, transfer from Columbia. As De La Torre winds and drops strike 1 in there, a beauty with the slider.
So he decided to transfer to a real academic school, huh? Shoot, if he'd really wanted to go all the way to that, he would have come over here.
Joined his brother. 2 years at Columbia for Gian, and he takes it ball 1. Limited to just 1 game last year because of injury. So technically, even though he's listed as a junior, eligibility-wise, he's a sophomore. Had an outstanding freshman year for the Lions. As the overshift on defensively for Gian, who lines it out toward left center, and that drops in for a hit, cut off by Kadama. An aggressive turn. Gian hits back to first base, and a sharp single with 1 out here in the second gives Stanford a base run.
Nice play by Kodama to keep Gian at first. That ball was between Kodama and Schmidt. Kodama hustled over to make sure that Gian couldn't get to second base.
But as a freshman, Gian was second team All-Ivy. He was the Columbia Rookie of the Year. Hit 5 homers, hit .318 as a freshman, and has had a good season for Stanford. He's at first. 1 out. J.J. Moran, the Stanford third baseman, climbs in. .258, 8 homers for Moran. And it's strike 1 from De La Torre is San Diego native, the sophomore Moran.
You know, you mentioned Joan has his sophomore eligibility. In today's world with NIL and transfer portal, I don't even know what that means.
But that's still old school where he's eligibility-wise a sophomore. He's a third-year sophomore. The pitch, swing and a miss by Moran. It's 0-2.
Well, I hear about 8-year football players. So, I mean, hey, what does that mean?
Well, the Miami tight end a couple of years ago was in his 9th season.
We're probably making more playing for Miami than he would in the NFL.
And there was a basketball player at Hawaii, his 9th year a few years ago. Short lead at first for Gian, check swing, and Moran holds up. It's 1-2. Moran 0 for 3, walked twice last night, snapping his 5-game hitting streak. Went 2 for 4 in their midweek win against St. Mary's on Tuesday at Sunken Diamond. Scored 3 runs, had a couple of doubles. As time is called and granted by Dylan Bradley, our plate umpire.
Big hole on the right side as Murillo holding John on at first, and Ericart, Cal second baseman, just a little bit to the right of the second base bag.
De La Torre ready. And a move to first. Diving back is Gian. As the runner at first base, Gian, after he singled, has 3 steals on the year.
Cal is ranked 15th in stolen bases as a team. The only team below them, of course, is Stanford.
1-2. Lifted, out of play. Do it again, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Stands here in Berkeley are packed from end to end. Great crowd. Also the overflow standing room only behind the Stanford dugout down the left side. It's the way it should be every Friday night for Cal baseball here.
Yep.
1-2. Popped up. Right side. Murillo crossing into foul ground. Andre Mercurio, Stanford's first base coach, gets out of the way. And Murillo makes the grab. 2 gone.
Well, the fans who came tonight couldn't have picked a better night to come. You and I were just talking about the temperatures. 72 degrees. The sun is out. Perfect night for baseball.
2 gone. Here is Jimmy Nadai. 252, 6 homers for Nadai, who's had a frustrating season. The Aussie, the senior from Sydney, Stanford left fielders, hit 6 home runs. The pitch. That one's in tight, and it kicks away after it clipped the handle of the bat there on Nadai. It's 0-1. Two down. Gian the runner at first for Stanford. The Cardinal have been playing good baseball recently. Might be playing their best stretch of the year. Pitch. Nadai the other way. Out toward right. Playable right at Gannon Snyder. Casually makes the catch. The Cardinal are gone. 1 hit, 1 left. We're going to the bottom of the second. Scoreless. Cal and Stanford. Cal baseball on ACC Network Extra. On to the last of the second inning, no score. Stanford and Cal here at Evans Diamond, Stu Gordon Stadium. New pitcher for the Cardinal after a clean inning from Aiden Keenan, starting it, going just 1 tonight. Andrew Shaw, the freshman from Woodstock, Georgia, takes over. He's had a really nice freshman season under the tutelage of Thomas Eager, Stanford's pitching coach, and David Esker. Cade Campbell leading it off, 275, 6 home runs for the senior third baseman. It's Andrew Shaw, only for the stretch, and the ground ball to short. Charlie Bates up with it toward the hole, and he throws out Campbell, and there's 1 out.
Shaw actually leads the Cardinal pitchers in ERA with a posting of 3.38 in 28 2/3 innings. 23 strikeouts and 8 bases on balls.
Carl Schmidt, the hitter now, 281, 9 homers for Schmidt. Cal left fielder had a good night at the plate last night. Shaw delivers, and that's just off the outside to Schmidt. Schmidt 3 for 5, drove in a run last night. Had a double, homered last weekend against Virginia and riding a modest 4-game hitting streak right now. As Shaw the 1-0, and Schmidt takes a mighty cut, dribbles it in front of the plate, picked up by Shaw, and the pitcher throws out Schmidt. And there's 2 gone, and boy, the swing fooled everybody because it only rolled about 10 feet in front of the plate.
Well, Shaw's the kind of guy, Roxy, the way he throws the ball, it's going to tail away from the right-handers. And these right-handed hitters from Cal need to be a little more selective on their swing. They should not try to pull him. They should try to go right back up the middle, because the ball is tailing away from him.
2 down for Lawson Olmstead. The freshman, the average is down to 229. He's been fighting it recently. 6 homers for Olmstead, who takes high. And it's ball 1 on Olmstead. Trying to get it going again. He had a hot stretch mid-season, but he's just 2 for his last 22. Although he did have a hit last night. Went 1 for 4 in game 1. And the 1-0 pitch is down and into Olmstead. It's 2-0. Olmstead, the freshman from Newport Beach, and the powerhouse Mater Dei down in Southern California. Shaw, the 2-0. Olmstead tops it foul. And it's 2-1 on the Cal DH here. 2 outs last of the second. Cal's got the pinstripes on tonight here at home and the Cardinal jerseys for the Cardinal. Here on the road. 2-1. Olmsted takes it low, and it's 3 balls and a strike.
Shaw won't overpower you. His fastball will top out at 90, but he's got good movement on it, like I said, tailing away from the right-handed batters.
Shaw the 3-1. Olmsted takes ball 4 low and the first base runner for Cal. And it is a 2-out walk. And Olmsted is on for his fellow freshman Brady Ericart.
Every time I see a Cal batter walk, I smile because they are dead last in the ACC on bases on balls, and I mean dead last by a wide margin. So when he does walk, that puts a runner on. It's as good as a base hit.
2 outs. Olmsted at first, a short lead. Ericart hitting 184 is driven in 2. And the pitch. And Ericart lines it over third. Fair ball. Over toward the line. Nadai cuts it off. Olmsted stops at second. And that's the first hit for Cal, a single to left by Ericart. And Cal's got 2 on with 2 out for Kodama.
Nice piece of hitting there by Ericart. That ball was in on him, but he was able to fight it off and fist it over Moran into left field. Nice play by Nadai, being able to cut it off and keep Lawson Olmsted from chugging over to third.
Ethan Kodama, 222. 9 driven in. And the Cal center fielder, the junior from West Hills in Southern California, who already made a brilliant catch tonight in the first inning of the ball that was squared up by Tokheim to dead center. 0 for 3 last night for Kodama. Did drive in a run against Virginia last weekend when, again, Cal beat Virginia 2 out of 3. And Kodama, ground ball back over the mound near the bag at second. Charlie Bates on the move, crossing over to the right side of the infield. And he throws out Kodama, and the Bears are gone. They strand 2. 1 hit, 2 left. We're through 2. Scoreless, Stanford and Cal on this Friday night. On to the third we go, scoreless in Berkeley with Jim Darby and our ACC Network crew. The Hall of Famer up top, Dave Pullman, who recently went into the Campo Lindo High School Football Hall of Fame.
Yes,
way to go, Pulley.
Congrats, Pulley.
8-9-1 for the Cardinal against De La Torre. Nolan Stoll, Brock Sell, Charlie Bates. As De La Torre winds, and it's fouled straight back by Stoll, the catcher, hitting 293. 1 homer on the year for Stoll, the freshman from Stevenson Ranch down in Southern California. Luke Lavin was behind the plate for the Cardinal last night as the 1-strike pitch, and that is top of the zone, 0-2 from De La Torre. No balls, 2 strikes on Nolan Stoll. De La Torre ready to work, and the 2-strike pitch, and that's upstairs, ball 1, missed with 92.
Good 0-2 pitch. He wanted to see if Stoll would climb the ladder and chase that pitch. I think both Thomas Eager and Chris Bodishball, the pitching coaches, are taking note that Bradley has a fairly high strike zone.
1-2 on the way. Stoll swing and a miss, struck him out, blew it by him. Second strikeout for De La Torre. 1 gone in the third. Brock Sell, the right fielder. As Sell, who barreled into that wall in the first inning. And good to see him stay in the game. 284 with a homer for the freshman. And Sell, who last year was at Tokay High School out in Stockton. That's the same high school that produced Cade Campbell, Cal's third baseman, although Campbell is senior. And Sell, a freshman, and it's strike 1 on Sell. De La Torre ready to work again. 1-strike pitch, and that is in there. It's 0-2. Tokay High School out there, one of the powerhouses out in the Central Valley. Eric Hart, also a freshman for Cal from Stockton, but he went to St. Mary's High School. 0-2 on the way. And that's inside, just missed with a fastball. And everybody kind of held their collective breath right there.
Well, you couldn't ask for a better 0-2 location than that pitch, Roxy. Right off the block.
Last year was a high school All-American. Sell, celebrated recruit for David Esker, and he golfs this one out in a shallow center. Going out is Kennedy, giving way as the center fielder Kodama charging in and taking charge. And there's 2 outs here in the top of the third. We go back to the top of the Stanford order and Charlie Bates.
Interesting first inning for Stanford. Bates squibbled one about 5 feet in front of the plate, got a base hit. 2 batters later, McDonald ripped run right back at De La Torre, and they were able to get a double play. So if you put the ball in play, you'll never know what's going to happen.
Motion from De La Torre, the pitch to Bates. That ball is crushed to right, hooking down the right field line. It is foul. Out in front of that changeup was Bates, who gave it a long ride, and it's 0-1.
Boy, he basically tomahawked that one. That was up around his eyes.
De La Torre, who is the #1 starter, has been the Friday night guy. Now with this series moved up to a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, the final series of the regular season. Mike New didn't want to bring back De La Torre on short rest, so he keeps him on the regular rotation on Friday. As that ball served out toward left center, Schmidt sideways over into the alleyway, and a 1-2-3 inning for Oliver De La Torre. We go to the bottom of the third, still scoreless. Snyder, Prather, and Kennedy coming up for the Bears. On to the last of the third, 9-1-2 for the Golden Bears. Gannon Snyder, Hideki Prather, Jet Kennedy against Andrew Shaw. Stanford won the opening game of this series last night. And Cal trying to even this series and create a rubber match tomorrow, the regular season finale. It's a 3 o'clock first pitch here in Berkeley tomorrow. And then both of these teams will head to Charlotte for the ACC tournament. And both teams will be in action on Tuesday in the opening day of the ACC tournament. Gannon Snyder, 170 with a homer and a called strike. The junior from St. Louis, the transfer from Wichita State. With the injuries, he has taken over as the everyday right fielder. Shaw, the 1-strike pitch. And Snyder looks at strike 2.
Ethan Kodama, who was Cal's center fielder, was the right fielder, but Josh Hansen went down with a toe injury, so they moved him to center, and that's when they put Snyder in right.
And Kevin Gion was the right fielder at the start of the year. Snyder lays off the breaking ball down low. And it's 1-2 on Gannon Snyder, leading off the last of the third. Jacob French still out of the lineup, dealing with a back issue. And Mike New hoping they could get him back maybe at some point. Was hoping by the end of the weekend, but hoping also for the ACC tournament. Skied, shallow left center, racing in is McDonald. It hangs up there for the Stanford center fielder, and there's one gone.
Well, French's injury has certainly been a tough one for the Bears. He was one of their top hitters. And of course, it all started at Boston College when he was Bean and had to take time. And then he came back, was very effective for a few games, and then hurt the back.
One out. Here is Prather, a fly out of the first. He gave it a charge out toward deep right center, where it was run down by McDonald in the first. Cal catcher, and he's out in front of the off speed. Took a mighty hack, and it's 0-1. Cal trying to finish this season strong and head into the ACC tournament with momentum. 1-strike pitch to Prather, and that's low and away. Lays off the changeup. Even with the loss last night that Cal suffered the opening game of the series, the RPI stayed exactly at 56. They did not move, even with the loss. 1-1 pitch, and Prather slams it out toward left center. McDonald racing back, still going on the run, and it is off the fence and in play. Hustling around second, digging for three. Hideki Prather, and a stand-up triple. Off the top of the wall in left center. And the first triple for Prather, and just the fifth triple for Cal this season.
Well, he certainly gave that a ride. That was out there to the right of the 365 sign. McDonald made a great effort for it. I'm surprised it stayed in the ballpark, but it hit the top of the fence and came back. And if that had gone a little bit further to the right, he might have been able to get an inside the park home run.
Runner at third, one out. Here is Kennedy, a fly out of the first. Stanford pulls the infield up, and the three on the left side of the infield for the Cardinal, with just one on the right. Kennedy grounds it foul past third.
I'm surprised they have the infield in this stage of the game, Roger.
Third inning.
Yeah.
But it's also a sign of the respect, I think, that David Esker and his staff have for Oliver De La Torre.
Absolutely.
That they know runs could be tough to come by tonight. So the three on the left side of the infield, and only Tokheim on the right, as Kennedy takes way outside. 1-1 on Kennedy. But the RPI is still at 56 for Cal after the loss, which still gives you some optimism that Cal's, if they can make a push here, still in play for the tournament as Kennedy takes ball two. And all this, if Cal wins the next 4 games, I know it's a big if, but you win the last 2 of this series against Stanford, you win 2 of the ACC tournament. That gets you to 14 aggregate wins in the conference. 31 overall. 2-1. Kennedy grounds it weakly right in front of the plate, picked up by the catcher, and throwing down to first is Stoll, keeping Prather at third. Boy, the soft contact, and that was a smart play by Nolan Stoll, looking the runner back and getting the out at first.
Well, Kennedy overswung on that changeup and just hit it right off the very end of the bat. And, you know, we've talked about this before. That's a situation where you're not really trying to swing hard. You're just trying to put contact, particularly if you can hit it to the right side when you have a whole open field there.
2 outs, Prather still at third. Now the infield can back up. And Murillo grounded out in the first. Shaw's pitch, it's in the dirt, ball 1. But you get to 31 wins at least overall, 14 aggregate ACC. I think you're right in play as far as the NCAA committee goes.
As long as that RPI stays low, for sure.
The pitch, Murillo lines it through the left side. And a single, it rolls all the way to the wall. That'll be 2 for Murillo. And an RBI, and Cal is on the board. 1-0 Bears.
Boy, and you know who is happiest about that?
Jed Kennedy.
Jed Kennedy, absolutely. Murillo picked up his teammate with that one.
Team leading 45th batted in for Murillo. And a 2-out clutch RBI double. And now it's Campbell for Cal, the cleanup bat.
Well, a great job of hitting by Murillo, not only picking up his teammate Kennedy and driving in the run, but he's now put himself in scoring position for Cade Campbell.
Campbell was the first hitter Shaw faced in the second. And the pitch. And Campbell grounds it weakly to the right side. Gian charging, gloves on the move, short throw to first. Campbell is out, the Bears are gone. They get a run on 2 hits, we're through 3. Cal 1, Stanford nothing. On to the 4th we go, along with Jim Darby and our ACC Network crew. Roxy Bernstein with you. 1-0 Cal, an RBI double in the bottom of the 3rd from Daniel Murillo. Oliver De La Torre has navigated through the first 3 innings, throwing just 30 pitches. 2, 3, and 4 for Stanford in the 4th. Teddy Tokheim, Colt McDonald, and Rentaro Sensaki. Pitch, and Tokheim bounces one to short. Off the glove of Kennedy, it goes out in the left. And an error opens the door for Stanford here in the 4th. And a leadoff base runner for the Cardinal, and Kennedy was looking at his glove as if there was a hole in it.
I think Jet thought it was a simple play. The ball just came up. Now, it bounced fairly high. It had a lot of top spin on it. But it's certainly a play he knows he should have made. And that's why I think he looks so bewildered.
Now Court McDonald lined into a double play in the first. Leadoff base runner for Stanford. Tokheim, short lead. Murillo holding there. As De La Torre the pitch. Squaring, bunted toward third. Charging it is Campbell. Bare hands, throws, and he gets him on a very close play at first. The sacrifice by McDonald, and Tokheim gets to second.
Now, I know that was a sacrifice, which shocks me. He's the number 3 hitter in the lineup. And with nobody out, I'm really surprised Coach Esker put the bunt sign on there.
Knowing David Esker as well as we do and watching his teams over the years, and I've watched a lot of David Esker teams, that doesn't surprise me in the slightest. David's looking for a run. He wants to get back to level.
Well, he's got the right guy at the plate now.
Sasaki struck out in the second. He is 0 for 1. Tokheim at second base. It's De La Torre the pitch, and Sasaki looks at a strike. 0-1.
Slider broke in on his hands.
And David Esker has done some masterful coaching jobs over the years. Of course, what he did with Cal in 2011, taking the Golden Bears to the College World Series, where he was National Coach of the Year. And then a probable run to Omaha. This recent success with some of the tremendous players he's had recently. 3 trips to Omaha in the last 5 years. I don't know, considering what he has been through from the end of last season to right now, if he's done a better coaching job than he has done this year. Sasaki rips it foul. And it's 1-2. Navigating through the injuries that they have dealt with. And a pitching staff that has just been battered with defections and injuries. Stanford's not playing the same game as everybody else. They can't go to the portal and pull somebody out and fill out a roster and bring in some talent. Well, it's not done that way for them.
No, and Cal's somewhat in the same position. The game has changed so much, particularly out here on the West Coast. You and I have talked about that quite a bit.
Swing and a miss, trying to lay off a high fastball, and that was up around the eyes, and Sasaki frustrated with himself, and it's strike 3, 2 gone. Third strikeout for De La Torre.
But it's a different game, you know, certainly for Mike New and David Esker. Like you said, it's tougher for them to get the transfer guys. They just can't do it, the bottom line.
It's a little bit more lenient for Mike New to get transfers in academically. It is next to impossible for David Esker because of just the Stanford administration and the way they don't help their athletic teams. They've been a little bit better recently as that one sails off the glove of the catcher Prather in a wild pitch, moving Tokheim to third. 1-0 on Eric Gion.
Well, with 2 outs, you might say, well, what's the big deal, second and third? Well, it's a big deal because now another wild pitch or a pass ball or a ground ball error is going to score the run.
Gion singled in the second. He's 1 for 1. And you look at, for example, the transfers that Stanford has. Cassius Thomas coming from Duke. Gion to the plate came from Columbia. Here's the 1-0. And that's ball 2 to Gion, 2-0. Henry McDonald is a catcher on their roster, was at Cal Poly. Sam Garwal, Northwestern. These are the only types of schools that Stanford can get transfers from. If you look at what Kyle Smith in basketball, he had 2 kids come from Harvard recently. 1 from Duke, the 2-0 pitch. That's ball 3 in the dirt, backhanded by Prather.
Well, the challenges that David Esker and Mike New have had to overcome, certainly you mentioned David back in 2011. Heck, Roxy, they cut his program. So how much more challenge can you have than that?
De La Torre, the 3-0, and Gion looks at a strike. Grooved right in there. It's 3-1. 2 outs, Tokheim at third, 1-0 Cal. And we talked about it this year, how much Cal was hurt by the transfer portal with guys going out and the key players from last year that are having success at other places. 3-1. Swing and a miss, a mighty rip by Gion, and it's full. But Stanford was hurt almost as bad when you consider their Friday night pitcher, Joey Volchko, is now at Georgia. Matt Scott, a key arm for them, is also at Georgia. Ty Huber transferred to Notre Dame. Those were three of their top arms. 3-2. And it's strike three called as De La Torre catches him looking. Gets him with a breaking ball as they strand the runner at third. A couple of strikeouts in the inning. That's 4 now for De La Torre. No runs, no hits, an error, a runner left. We're going to the bottom of the fourth. Schmidt, Olmstead, Ericard coming up. 1-0 Bears. New pitcher for the Cardinal, their third in 4 innings. Ben Reimers takes over after 2 from Andrew Shaw. And now it's the sidewinding righty, Reimers, the junior from Aliso Viejo in Southern California. Schmidt, Olmstead, Ericard, 5, 6, and 7. A run, 3 hits, and an error for Cal. No runs, 2 hits, and no errors for the Cardinal. Carl Schmidt grounded out in the second. He is 0 for 1. So Reimers, that awkward motion. And Schmidt fouls the first pitch away. And it's 0-1 on Schmidt.
Well, it's an awkward motion, Roxy, but it's also a motion where the hitters see the pitch. He puts it right out there in front of him. He doesn't come from behind.
1 strike pitch, and that's in there from Reimers. 89 on the fastball, and it's 0-2. He's been hit around this year. His ERA is up almost at 10. 9.88. 13 2/3. He's given up 19 hits. And Schmidt tops it foul past third. Oh and 2 on Schmidt, leading off the home fourth. Aiden Keenan started, went 1, 2 from Shaw, and now Reimers. And the pitch. And that strike 3 called at the knees, catches Schmidt looking. And that's the first strikeout by Stanford pitching, 1 out.
Well, Schmidt opened up way too early on that pitch. He gave himself up, and he just had no chance to swing the bat.
Here is Lawson Olmstead, who walked in the second. And the Cal DH. 6'4", junior righty, Olmstead on the mound. Last year all academic ACC. Swing and a miss by Olmstead. 19 games last year for Reimers. Was 1-0, but had an ERA around 8.5.
So he's been consistent.
His freshman year, though, was pretty good. 3-1, 22 games out of the pen. And now it's 0-2 on Olmstead. And there's a Stanford legacy with the Reimers family. His dad played at Stanford in the mid-90s, Tom Reimers. 0-2. And that's down and into Olmstead, ball 1. He helped the Cardinal win the 1994 Pac-10 title. And they went to Omaha when Tom Reimers was with the Cardinal in 1995. Was drafted by the White Sox. Dad was in the 15th round in 96. 1-2. And Olmstead takes it just off the outside. And it's 2-2 on Olmstead.
Boy, that's a tough pitch to lay off of, particularly when you just saw a fastball tailing in around the knees and it's sweeping away from you. So nice job by Olmstead.
2-2. 1 down, last of the fourth, and Olmstead pops it up. This will get out of play behind the plate. Also, Ben Reimers getting athleticism from mom. She was an all-academic or an academic All-American swimmer at Linfield College. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Lawson Olmstead. Ben Reimers, the pitch. Swing and a miss, tied him up. And that one reached 90 from sidewinding righty Reimers, and there's 2 gone. He struck out the first 2 hitters here in the fourth.
A lot of listeners will say, Linfield College, where's that? Never heard of it. Well, if you're a Yankee fan, you have, because that's where the great Scott Brocious,
ferocious Scott Brocious,
played his college baseball.
Up in Oregon. 2 outs. Brady Ericard singled in the second. He's 1 for 1. 2 down here in the last of the fourth. The pitch. And Ericard on the ground to second. Gian Field slings it onto first in a 1-2-3 inning for Reimers. We're through 4. 1-0 Cal. We go to the fifth. 6, 7, and 8 for the Cardinal. J.J. Moran and Jimmy Nadai. Nolan Stoll against Oliver De La Torre. As Moran fouled out in the second, he is 0 for 1.
De La Torre, economy of pitches so far, just 42 through the first 4 innings. That's exactly what Mike New and Chris Bodishbaugh were hoping for, because they want to go deep into the game with him tonight.
And then tomorrow, the regular season finale. Gavin Eddy, the reigning ACC Pitcher of the Week, will take the ball for Cal. And Stanford going with Johnny Holstaff tonight. They're going with Johnny Holstaff again tomorrow. And they go with Johnny Holstaff every game.
You know, you said that, and I go, never heard of him.
he gets around. Here's the 1-0 to Moran. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike, a mighty rip by Moran.
Well, Moran was way out in front of that changeup. Nice looking pitch by De La Torre. Like I said earlier, that is a key pitch for him.
1-1. De La Torre delivers, and that's at the knees and a called strike.
And one thing you saw right there, Roxy, you don't see too much in college baseball anymore. De La Torre shook off the sign that he was given. So it goes to show you, the respect the coaches have for him, that he can do that.
And the coaching staff gives the freedom to Hideki Prather to call the games. Now, Chris Bodishbaugh, the Cal pitching coach, Mike New were involved in it. But for the most part, they let Hideki Prather run the game behind the plate.
Well, I've always said the best guy to call the game is the catcher, because he knows how the ball's moving. You can't tell from the bench.
2-2 on Moran. De La Torre delivers, and there's a ball speared by Oliver De La Torre for the out. Hashtag SportsCenter top 10 on that one. Wow.
Ole! I'm not sure Oliver even saw it. What a play.
Did the glove find the hit? Did the ball find the glove? 1 out here in the fifth on a sparkling play by De La Torre, who has fielded his position exceptionally tonight.
Yeah, he has.
That double play, line drive in the first. Jimmy Nadai a fly out in the second. Got under this one, out to left, over toward the corner goes Schmidt. Now coming in a few steps, and he makes the grab, and there's 2 gone here in the Stanford fifth.
Well, people who don't think pitchers are fielders, there's the case in point where certainly that has helped out De La Torre. And the guy you look at when you say that is a guy named Greg Maddux. I think, 12 years in a row, the Golden Glove award.
2 gone. Here is Nolan Stoll, who struck out in the third, is De La Torre. And he misses with ball 1. 2 gone here in the fifth. Oliver De La Torre winds in the 1-0, and that's a check swing. Did he go? No on appeal, and it's 2-0 on the Stanford catcher. 6'4" Stoll. I don't see many catchers 6'4" and above. And it's ball 3.
I was going to say you would have never seen that a few years ago, but becoming more common these days. I think Carlton Fisk was the first catcher I ever saw growing up that I thought, man, that's a big guy behind the plate.
Adley Rutschman, he was at Oregon State, now with the Orioles. That's a big dude behind the dish. 3-0. And that is ball forward, it missed high. And that is the first walk issued by De La Torre. And a 2-out base runner to get Brock Sell to the plate for the Cardinal.
I've talked about unforced errors the Cal team making this year. I'm going to add that one to the list, because when you've got the number 8 hitter up with 2 outs, nobody on, and walk him on 4 pitches, that's like double faulting and lose a set.
Sell a fly out in the third. 2 outs. Stoll at first, De La Torre. And it misses high, and it's 1-0.
Now this is where Oliver should call time, because they have a pitch clock. I'm going to call time, step off the rubber, catch his breath, just try to get his momentum back.
Here comes the 1-0. And that's popped up by Sell out of play. And he did De La Torre a favor right there by swinging, even though it may have been a strike.
Yeah, it was up in the zone, and Bradley has had a tendency to call those strikes, so it might have been, but it wasn't certainly where De La Torre wanted that pitch to go.
1-1 the count on Brock Sell. From the set, De La Torre, short lead for Stoll. And the pitch is fouled straight back. The fastball from De La Torre, and it's 1-2.
That was coming right back at you. Were you going to try to catch that?
I knew the netting was there. It's an almost impossibility to get a ball here. Over that netting. Here comes the 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got him with the changeup. 5th strikeout for De La Torre. Stanford strands a runner. We're heading to the home half of the 5th inning. Kodama, Snyder, Prather, 8-9-1 coming up for Cal. Bears 1, Cardinal nothing.
Alrighty, Cal fans, it's time to get on your feet for T-shirts. Brought to you by Oakland Airport, the official airport of Cal Athletics. Let's hear some.
On to the home half of the 5th inning. 1-0 Cal. A run on 3 hits with an error for the Golden Bears. No runs, 2 hits, no errors for the Cardinal. And Stanford turning to the bullpen again, summoning the lefty Austin Steves after a perfect 1-2-3 4th from Ben Reimers. And now it's Steves who's got a solid 3.48 ERA, although he's only pitched 10 1/3 innings this year. He's got a 2-0 record. 6 walks, 7 strikeouts, and it's Ethan Kodama leading it off. Grounded out of the 2nd, he's 0 for 1. As Steves, the sophomore from the North Bay, is from Petaluma. Went to Casa Grande High School up there, and a called strike to Kodama. Mentioned Stanford's playing good ball right now, and so is Cal. Bears won 2 out of 3 at Virginia last weekend. 1 strike pitch, and Kodama pops this toward the Stanford dugout and out of play. But Stanford with the win here last night. The Cardinal have won 5 of their last 6, 11 of their last 15. And they've beaten some pretty good teams. They swept a series recently from Florida State at Sunken Diamond. And then they just won 2 out of 3 from NC State at home last weekend. Beat St. Mary's in their midweek on Tuesday.
So my question is, their win last night, did their RPI go up?
Check swing, did he go? Yes, he went around. And Kodama strikes out. And there's 1 away. Stanford, it's funny, the RPI has not been a friend of the Cardinal this year. Here comes Gannon Snyder. For the RPI, which is one of the measuring tools the NCAA committee uses. It's not the end-all tool, but it certainly is one of them that they use to help them in their picking of the 64 teams that they feel are deserving to be in. As Gannon Snyder, who flew out of the 3rd, takes ball 1.
I've often wondered by the selection committee. Of course, if you win your conference, it's an automatic.
You get the automatic if you win the ACC tournament.
Right, but then there's the subjective, which RPI, I guess, gets put into that. But you often wonder, I always have, of how much politicking goes on in those selections.
So Stanford's RPI after the win last night, 100, right on the nose. They're at 100 in the RPI. Snyder in the air to center, a lot of room for McDonald. And he settles under it, and there's 2 outs.
And for those of you who don't understand RPI, which I don't totally, I can tell you, but I can tell you this, a 100 RPI is not good.
Cal's RPI right now is 57. It was 56, and with results earlier today, they have fallen right now one spot down to 57. But one of the reasons why Stanford and the RPI is an enemy of Stanford right now is the lack of road games the Cardinal have played this year. Called strike to Hideki Prather, who tripled and scored in the third.
Wouldn't you take that into consideration if you're the schedule maker?
Well, Stanford's played a total of 14 road games. That's it. Prather rips one to left. Going! Gone! Hideki Prather! 13th home run, 2-0 Cal.
For those of you who golf and you know what a draw is, well, you just saw one. He rolled over that right wrist and just pounded it, or just landed just above right where Jeff Blum is there on the outfield wall, the former Cal star. So, like you said, 13th home run for Prather, team leading home run.
Here is Jet Kennedy, who's 0 for 2. Solo shot by Prather. Steves delivers, and that bends outside for ball one. But with just the 14 road games Stanford has played, and the way the formula works, you win a game on the road, it helps you more than if you win it at home. The RPI is based on who you play, how they're playing, who they have beaten. Kennedy chops one to third, cut off by J.J. Moran, throws out Kennedy, and the Bears are gone. They get the homer from Prather. We're through 5 on this Friday night. California 2, Stanford nothing. Top of the order for the Cardinal. We head to the 6th. Full stands here in Berkeley for this Friday night matchup between these two Bay Area rivals, long-time rivals, Cal and Stanford. And a 2-0 lead for Cal. Bates, Tokheim, McDonald for the Cardinal here in the 6th. Charlie Bates, an infield hit in the first. He is 1 for 2, and he takes strike 1 from De La Torre. De La Torre has been in a good rhythm since the outset. And that ball's weakly grounded to the right side. Daniel Murillo underhands, and De La Torre gets over there. And the pitcher records the put out, 1 gone.
Well, I mentioned economy of pitches. That was De La Torre's 56th pitch, and we're in the 6th inning. So he is certainly on track here to go deep into this game.
Now it's Teddy Tokheim, reached on an error in the 4th. He is 0 for 2. Other games of note going on tonight in college baseball. As Tokheim rips it to left, hooking toward the corner, and that one is cut off by Schmidt as he reaches the rim of the warning track. Digging for 2, Tokheim. Throw gets away from Ericart, the second baseman, backed up by Murillo, and a double by Tokheim here with 1 out. Stanford's first hit since the 2nd inning.
Well, if Ericart had been able to come up with that, they would have nailed Tokheim at second, but now Tokheim looks like he hurt himself. Nope. Check that. He just had the batting glove he wanted to give to the third base coach.
Double to left for Tokheim. And his 16th double, which leads the team. He's at second. Court McDonald sacrificed in the 4th. And he's lined into a double play. He's 0 for 1. De La Torre, a look back. And McDonald takes high. Other ACC games going on. And everything else is done in the conference tonight. Virginia Tech won the first 2 from Clemson as the Hokies winning 2-1 in Blacksburg tonight over Clemson. 1-0. That's fouled back. Notre Dame evens their series with Pitt as they win in Pittsburgh 6-4. As teams are jockeying for seeding, heading toward the ACC tournament, making their last push. Georgia Tech hammered Boston College tonight, 14-1. 1-1. Swing and a miss fooled him there. As Georgia Tech, the Yellow Jackets pounded out 16 hits against BC. As they've won the first 2 of that series from BC. Georgia Tech. The Yellow Jackets are poised to be a national seed. And that ball bounced to the right side. Flag down by Murillo. Underhands. De La Torre there. Out number 2. Tokheim goes to third. That'll leave it up to the DH. And Rentaro Sasaki has struck out twice tonight. He is 0 for 2. But 14-1 behind Carson Ballard tonight. It wasn't a run rule. It was a tight game until late. Georgia Tech led BC 2-1 going to the 7th before the Ramblin' Wreck erupted. They got 3 in the 7th, 3 in the 8th, 5 in the 9th. Jaron Advincula is now hitting .441 as the former Bear was 3 for 5 tonight for the Yellow Jackets. The 1-0 to Sasaki, and that runs inside.
Good location pitch by De La Torre.
Wake Forest, a 7-2 win at Duke as the Demon Deacons have won the first 2 of that series. At third, Tokheim. De La Torre's 2-0, and that's inside to Sasaki. It's 3-0. Florida State hammered Miami tonight, 11-1, as the Noles have won the first 2 of that series in Tallahassee. But 11-1 Florida State tonight over the U. As Sasaki takes inside ball 4, and Stanford's got 2 on with 2 out.
He might have been pitching around Sasaki there, the left-hander, with Jong now coming up. You know, you were talking about the respect Cal and Stanford have for each other and friendly rivalry. Well, when you say Florida State and Miami,
no,
you take the word friendly out.
Well, in that game, it was a run rule after Florida State scored 5 in the bottom of the 8th to win it 11-1. Trey Beard went 6, struck out 8, the winning pitcher for Florida State. Runners at the corners, 2 down. The pitch to Gian. Popped up on the first pitch of the infield. Kennedy, the shortstop, waiting for it to come down. Makes the grab, and the Cardinal are gone. They strand 2. 1 hit, 2 left. We're going to the bottom of the 6th inning. Heart of the order coming up for the Bears. Cal 2, Stanford 0. Here come the Bears, last of the 6th inning, heart of the order. And Darb, stop me if you heard this before. Stanford has a new pitcher in the game.
Oh, you're kidding. Really?
Parker Warner, the right-hander, takes over after an inning from Austin Steves. It's Murillo, Campbell, and Schmidt against Warner. And the sophomore from Livermore on the mound for the Cardinal. 1-2 and a 6.63 ERA. He's worked 38 innings this year. Murillo an RBI double in the 3rd, 1 for 2. The overshift on by Stanford defensively in the infield, and Murillo grounds it toward the left side. Backhanded, sliding stop, Bates to his feet, rifles to first, dug out at first by Tokheim. Nicely done by the Stanford infield, Bates, and then Tokheim on the dig. And there's 1 gone here in the last of the 6th.
Well, a big difference from last night. When Sasaki was over at first, they had 2 plays like that the big man couldn't dig out, and Cal was able to capitalize on those when they were making their comeback. But that was a heck of a play on both ends.
Cade Campbell, a couple of ground outs, is 0 for 2. 1 gone here in the last of the 6th. Cal senior third baseman. But a big hit in the game, helping Cal come back, but falling a run short last night. Campbell got jammed and a pop-up. The shortstop, Bates, taking charge. 2 pitches, 2 outs here in the last of the 6th.
If he throws 1 more pitch and gets out of the inning, what do you think the odds are he may come back?
I have a hunch he will not record an out on this pitch. Carl Schmidt has grounded out and struck out. He's 0 for 2.
Well, if he does, and he's done for the night, people say, well, how did he do? You go, I don't know.
Louisville pounded Virginia tonight, 12-2 at Patterson Stadium there in Louisville. Louisville had 17 hits. And there's a called strike to Schmidt.
Was one of them by Roy Hobbs?
You mean Tank Davis?
Yeah.
So after Virginia won last night, the opening game of that series, Louisville evens it tonight with the Cavaliers. And Schmidt lays off. It's 1-1. That was another run rule in an 8-inning game. It's Colton Hartman, the winner for Louisville. Tank Davis, 2 for 5. Again, Louisville had 17 hits. And the shocker, Tank Davis did not homer.
Well, he used them all up here in Berkeley.
He's hit him against everybody. It's not just Cal.
Well, we certainly helped him add to his total. He's a heck of a ball player.
2-1 on Schmidt, 2 down. And then North Carolina clobbered NC State in Raleigh 17-7. They've won the first 2 of that series in a sharp grounder foul by Schmidt. And the count now 2-2 on Carl Schmidt here with 2 down. For the Tar Heels, a 17-7 win over NC State. Stanford took 2 out of 3 from the Pac at Sunken Diamond last week. And that was a 7-inning run rule victory for Carolina today. Run rules are making the rounds of the ACC today.
They certainly are.
Two. Schmidt lines it out toward left center, and that falls in for a hit past the diving Nadai. All the way to the wall as Carl Schmidt cruises into second base with a 2-out double. Nadai tried to make the diving catch, and by leaving his feet, it cost Stanford 90 feet. Now Cal's got a runner in scoring position.
Well, that's where the outfielder, certainly he's going to try to catch everything he can, but he's got to make a decision, because if that ball stays in front of him, it's just a single. Those 90 feet could loom large here as Olmstead steps in.
Lawson Olmstead has walked and struck out. He's 0 for 1. Runner at second, 2 down. 5th hit for Cal. And of the 5 hits, 4 have gone for extra bases tonight. Called strike to Olmstead.
As we get into the later innings, Roxy, every run Cal can score here is looming large.
So giving you all the other scorers in the league tonight. Schmidt dancing off second as Olmstead turns on one and hooks it foul. Right now, Georgia Tech is locked in as the 1 seed with their win. They are 23-5 in the ACC. And Carolina 21-7. Florida State is 18-10. This is coming into today, but with Georgia Tech winning as Olmstead serves one the other way. Single to right. They're going to hold Schmidt, charging at his cell, and he fires to the plate, and the runners are at the corners with a single the other way by Olmstead.
Schmidt looks like he's a little gimpy out there. Looked like he was limping going into third. So I think it was a smart call not to try to send him.
Now it's Brady Ericard who's singled back in the second. He's 1 for 2, and we mentioned before Brady's uncle Chris played here about 20 years ago. Chris Ericard played for David Esker when Eske was coaching Cal. In fact, he told me he was texting with Chris Ericard the other day. Runners at the corners for Ericard. Warner, the pitch. And that's inside and to hit him. And the bases are loaded as Ericard got hit on the right hand. And they are loaded for Ethan Kodama. Schmidt at third, going up to second is Olmstead. And Ericard is on with a hit batter.
Thomas Eager on his way to the mound to talk to his pitcher. We didn't see if anybody was heating up in the bullpen. Doesn't look like it, so.
Thomas Eager, who was the pitching coach at Cal when David Esker was here, and then followed Eske over to Stanford when he took over as the pitching coach. When Mike New left Cal to take the Pacific head coaching job.
Yeah, it's a carousel. Now you wonder what could he possibly be saying to Parker Warner as he makes his trip to the mound. I think, quite frankly, Roxy, I think he's just trying to stall a little time here, slow Cal's momentum. Make Kodama stand there and think about it.
So base is full for Kodama. And after the mound visit, Thomas Eager back to the third base dugout. Base is loaded. Big opportunity for Kodama here. 2-0 Cal, bottom of the sixth. This all started with 2 outs and nobody on. The double by Schmidt, the single by Olmstead, and Eric Hart hit by a pitch. Parker Warner. And Kodama takes ball one. One and 0 the count. Runners lead for Cal. Warner. Here comes the 1-0. And Kodama off the end of the bat, out of play. And it's 1-1 on the Cal center fielder.
Cardinal playing Kodama pretty much straight away. The second baseman, Jiang, pulled a little bit over to the right side. He's back on the outfield grass.
1 ball, 1 strike on Kodama. Warner ready. Now the pitch, and Kodama takes down and in. So the updated standings, Georgia Tech 24-5. They're locked in as the 1 seed. Carolina's the 2, they're 22-7. Florida State will be the 3, they're 19-10. And the 4 seed is still not wrapped up. Boston College has it for the moment. They're 17-12. A game up on Wake Forest, who's 16-13. This is lifted by Kodama out of play. Now Miami is the 6 right now at 15-14.
The way it works, though, the top 8 teams get a bye.
So the top 4 teams get a bye into Thursday. 5 through 8 get a bye into Wednesday. 9 through 16 will play on Tuesday.
And this is double elimination.
No.
Single
elimination. The 2-2. Kodama takes in the dirt. Blocked by Stoll. It's a full count with the bases full. The merry-go-round will start on the pitch.
Well, when you say this is a big pitch in the game, you're not kidding.
Full count, 2 down. 2-0 Cal, bottom of the 6th. Warner, no place to put him. The pitch. And Kodama takes strike 3 called outside edge of the plate. Catches Kodama looking, and the Bears leave him loaded. 2 hits, 3 left. We're through 6. 2-0 California. We go to the 7th. 2-0 Cal as the Bears left him loaded in the bottom of the 6th. 6, 7, and 8 for the Cardinal against Oliver De La Torre here in the 7th. Moran, Nadai, and Stoll against Oliver De La Torre, who's handcuffed the Cardinal on just 3 hits so far tonight. As De La Torre has walked only 2, and the right-hander has struck out 5. J.J. Moran, a foul out and a ground out. He is 0 for 2.
Most important for De La Torre, he's only at 68 pitches as we enter the top of the 7th.
He has 1 complete game this year. That was a run rule 7-inning complete game against Pitt in Pittsburgh, fouled away by Moran. Again, De La Torre has won 4 of his last 5 starts coming into tonight. So we're going through the seedings. If the season were to end right now, this result not counting. Right now, Cal is the 14 seed of the ACC. Fouled back by Moran. But if Cal wins this game tonight, they move into a tie for the 13th spot with Pitt. Because Cal swept Pittsburgh, Cal would be the 13th seed over the Panthers. And there's still an opportunity to climb even higher. 0-2. Hit on the ground, past the glove of De La Torre out in the center. And J.J. Moran, a leadoff single to give Stanford a start here in the 7th.
Well, that's where the shift bites you, because that was a ball that was up the middle that Eric Hart probably would have been able to get to had he been in normal, what we call normal second base position.
Leadoff single. And now the batter is Jimmy Nadai. A couple of flyouts. He is 0 for 2. Still within reach for Cal are both Notre Dame and Louisville. They're both 12 and 17. And if Cal ends up in a tie with Louisville, they would get the nod for the better seed over the Cardinals, as Cal won 2 out of 3 from Louisville in that series here.
Can Cal sneak into the top 9? Is that possible?
That's not possible. Not possible.
So they're going to play Tuesday regardless.
They're playing Tuesday regardless. The 1-0 to Nadai. And that's on the outside edge from De La Torre. It's 1-1. But why the RPI? Why Cal's is so favorable? Cal's played 25 road games this year. And Cal's 14 and 11 on the road. They've been better at home, or on the road, than at home. Strike 2 to Nadai. This Cal is 13 and 14 here. But 14 and 11 away from Berkeley. And they're just 3 and 10 at home in the ACC, but 7 and 8 in conference road games.
Go figure.
Moran at first, the 1-2, and a late time call granted. No, pitch clock violation. And a pitch clock violation against De La Torre, an automatic ball. And it's 2-2 now on Jimmy Nadai. So the automatic ball. Technically it counts as a pitch, but it really wasn't. It says 71 or whatever it is. It's one less. 70. Pitch. Nadai swings at a high, towering fly to left. Over toward the corner is Schmidt. He's back at the wall. It is gone, and we've got a tie game. A rainbow from Jimmy Nadai that carried out of here his 7th home run, and it's 2-2.
Well, a ball that just had enough to get over that fence. Schmidt went all the way over there at the 320 marker, ran out of real estate. The ball just went right over his head. Just enough for the Cardinal to tie this game up. So a tough break for De La Torre,
who was sailing along, but Stanford touching him here in the 7th.
But this is where he's got to bow his neck and say, okay, they've tied it up, but I'm still in this ball game, not lose focus.
Nolan Stoll, strike 1. So the 7th homer, a 2-run blast off the bat of Nadai. 1 strike pitch, and it's 0-2 now on the Stanford catcher. Cal had an opportunity to blow it open. They loaded the bases in the bottom of the 6th. Parker Warner able to wiggle out of it. And now Stanford capitalizes, and they've tied the game. How quickly things can change. 2-strike pitch. And that ball is sent out of play by Stoll.
De La Torre's fastball is now consistently around 88, 89, so he's lost a little bit of the giddy up on it.
Oh, 0-2 on the Stanford catcher. Here it comes. And that's low and away, ball 1. Two-two ball game as Stanford has tied it here in the 7th. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Got him. Struck him out with a breaking ball. That is the 6th for De La Torre. And there's one away in the 7th. That'll bring up Brock Sell.
You know, that's one thing as a pitching coach you always look at. If your pitcher gives up a hit and then a home run like that, how does he then handle the next hitter? And that nice job there by De La Torre.
Sell 0 for 2, a fly out and a strikeout. And the Stanford right fielder. Activity beginning in the Cal bullpen. As strike one, as Sell showed bunt, didn't agree with Dylan Bradley, the plate umpire. And the right-hander beginning to get loose is Trent Roach. Other scores of note around college baseball tonight. And after a wild one in Eugene at PK Park last night, Oregon leading USC 4-2. In the 6th inning up in Eugene after USC won the opening game of that series in extras last night. Washington, who shut out UCLA at Husky Ballpark last night, they lead the Bruins, the #1 ranked team in the country, 3-0. That's in the bottom of the 4th in Seattle. 2-1 on Sell. UCLA now 26-2 in the Big Ten. 46 wins overall. That one's cued foul by Sell.
You know, it's funny, but I don't ever remember UCLA going 26-2 in the Pac 6, 8, 10, or 12.
You know why you don't remember that? Because it never happened.
And they talk about how good of a league was the Pac-12. There you go.
The kick, the 2-2 to Sell. Hit well to right, going back on it is Snyder. He's at the track, he leaps, it is gone, and Stanford has the lead. Brock Sell, his second home run, and it's 3-2 Cardinal. The freshman gives Stanford the lead. It was 2-0. Here going to the 7th, a 2-run homer by the senior Nati, and now the freshman gives the Cardinal the lead. A line drive that just got out of here. Now it's Charlie Bates in the top of the order, and Chris Bodersbaugh coming to the mound, the Cal pitching coach. And Trent Roach speedily beginning to fire away in the bullpen. Well, De La Torre was breezing along. 6 scoreless innings of 3-hit baseball. And now Stanford has roughed him up a bit here in the 7th.
Well, things can turn quickly, particularly when the ball goes over the fence. And neither ball was really, I mean, they were obviously a hard hit. They did go over the fence, but they weren't crushed. They just had enough to get out.
After the mound visit, Chris Bodersbaugh back to the dugout. And here comes Charlie Bates climbing in. De La Torre trying to settle back in. And there's a pop-up. Playable in left for Schmidt. And he camps under it, and there's 2 gone.
What hurts is that it was the bottom of the order that caused the problem, the number 7 and 9 hitters.
They did the damage, and now it's the dangerous Teddy Tokheim, who doubled in the 6th. He is 1 for 3.
And certainly has home run power. I think he's got 16 on the year.
Other scores in the top 25 is a couple of top 5 teams going at it in Athens, or rather in Auburn, Alabama tonight. Georgia won last night in game 1 of that series, and the Bulldogs leading the Auburn Tigers 9-7, bottom of the 8th at Auburn. Both those teams appear to be headed toward hosting a regional at least. And it's inside to Tokheim, 2-0. Texas leading Missouri 11-6. They're in the 9th in Austin. Longhorns trying to take the first 2 now of that series. The pitch. Fouled back. Kansas, the surprising leader of the Big 12. The Jayhawks ranked number 14, even though they got swept last weekend. Leading at BYU 6-3 in the 8th after they won last night over the Cougars. And trying to take the first 2 from BYU. 2-1, Tokheim grounds it to short. That's the second baseman, Eric Hart. Fields, throws, gets him, side retired. We're stretching Berkeley, but Stanford gets 3. They get 2 homers in the 7th, and they have a 3-2 lead. As we go to the bottom half of the 7th inning, Snyder, Prather, Kennedy, 9-1 and 2 coming up for the Bears. Stanford 3, Cal 2.
Fans, it's time to get on your feet, take a
Here come the Bears, last of the 7th. Stanford now leading at 3-2. It'll be Gannon Snyder, then the top of the order, Hideki Prather, Jet Kennedy. Against the 6th Stanford pitcher of the night, Cassius Thomas summoned. 1-2 with a save and a 4.97 ERA. For Thomas, the Southern California native and the transfer from Duke. Keenan, Shaw, Reimers, Steves, Warner, now Thomas. And the right-hander only for the stretch. Gannon Snyder, a couple of flyouts to center, is 0 for 2. And Thomas delivers, and that's in there for a strike. 94 from Thomas. Oh and 1 on Gannon Snyder, the Cal right fielder. As Thomas, here comes the pitch. And that's high, 1-1.
That one came in at 95. Thomas certainly has some giddy up on that fastball, but it looks like it's a fairly straight fastball. It's a four-seamer.
The 1-1. And that's high, 2-1 the count on Snyder. Activity in the Cal bullpen. The lefty, Garrett McCowiak, is up. After De La Torre has gone 7, but Stanford now with the lead. 2-1 to Gannon Snyder. Swing and a hard ground at a second. On 2 bounces, Gian Fields throws out Snyder. There's 1 out.
Well, Snyder did his job. He hit it hard, but unfortunately it went right to Gian.
Now the top of the order, and Hideki Prather is homered tonight. Prather is 2 for 3, tripled and scored in the 3rd, and hit his 13th home run in the 5th inning. So the Cal catcher climbs in, facing Cassius Thomas. 29 to 3rd innings. Thomas has given up 34 hits. He has walked 16. And that's in tight to Prather for ball 1. Other games of note, Oregon State, the Beavs ranked 7th. They're hosting Air Force this weekend. But Air Force is leading Oregon State 7-5 in the 7th at Goss Stadium. Ball 2 to Prather. Everything else in the top 25 has gone final. TCU, as a bubble team, had a big win at West Virginia. 4-0, they shut out the Mountaineers in Morgantown. It's TCU now 33-19, 17-12 in the Big 12. As Prather grounds it sharply, backhanded it short by Bates, skips the throw to first, and a dig by Tokheim for the out.
That's a big league play right there, Roxy. Went down, was able to backhand it, didn't really stand up straight to throw it, just one-hopped it over to first base. You know, for you young kids, you don't have to throw it all the way to the guy. If you just one-hop him, give him a chance to make the play, that's exactly what he did.
Now it's Jet Kennedy, who's 0 for 3, looking for his first hit of this series. 2 gone here in the last of the 7th.
Thomas has thrown 7 pitches, all fastballs.
And that one goes to the screen.
Just a bit wide.
1-0 the count on Kennedy.
If you're the on deck, you better be careful over there.
And I bring up TCU with longtime Cal assistant, former pitching coach Dave Lawn, who's now the pitching coach at TCU. His 40th season in college baseball. As Kennedy fouls it off, and that got the catcher stole. And he needs a moment.
Well, I think you also bring up TCU because your favorite football coach is there at TCU, isn't it?
Tosh Lupoy's not coaching at TCU.
Is his name Sonny? No, we're just kidding. Actually, Sonny, you know, it's funny about Sonny Dykes. He was not a football player in college.
He was a baseball player
at Texas Tech.
But David Lawn retiring. This is his 40th and final season of college baseball.
He's been a force in the college game for a long time.
And happy for CL. He's had a great ride. Some stops, of course, was here as Bob Milano's right hand was here briefly with David Esker. CL was at Fullerton for a bit, USC, Arizona, Nevada. And now wrapping it up at TCU.
I'd say he's been at some pretty good baseball schools, and
yeah.
You wonder, are they pretty good because they had him?
Was the pitching coach on Cal's 1992 College World Series team.
I'm surprised he was never a head coach.
1-1 on Jet Kennedy. Thomas the pitch, and Kennedy takes high. He's had opportunities. When he, for example, when he was the pitching coach for Jay Johnson in Nevada, and Jay left to take the Arizona job, they offered the job to CL. But David Lawn wanted to stay in his role, followed Jay Johnson, became the pitching coach at Arizona. Swinging a mighty cut by Kennedy. It's 2-2. A little bit taken off by Thomas. And even when Jay Johnson went to LSU, David Lawn stayed when Chip Hale took over, and he continued at Arizona with Chip. 2-2. Swinging a ball drilled. Way back in left field. Tie game. Gone, Jet Kennedy.
Well, when you throw 7 straight fastballs, if you're the batter, you know what's coming. Boy, he didn't miss that one, Roxy. Woo. That one,
number 11 for Kennedy, and that was hammered.
That one was hit. Kennedy stood at home plate and just watched it. He knew it was gone. Boy, if that fired this crowd up.
Everybody knew it was gone.
But it's amazing how the emotions of a baseball game can go back and forth so quickly.
Tie game on the blast off the bat of Kennedy. Each team has homered twice tonight. 2 gone. Daniel Murillo, RBI double in the third. He is 1 for 3. 3-3 in the 7th. And Thomas' pitch is served out toward right, sinking. Selk charging in, and it falls in front for a hit. And a 2-hit night for Daniel Murillo. 8 hits now for the Golden Bears. And off the end of the bat, Sell didn't read it well off the bat. It fooled him, and the swing, I think, fooled Sell, and that's why he got a late break on it. Not sure he would have gotten there anyways had he had a great jump at it.
Well, he knows Murillo. They have scouting reports. He knows Murillo's got great power. So when he swings like that, you really can't tell where off the bat it went. He hit it right off the end and was able to drop it in front of him.
Now it's Cade Campbell who's 0 for 3. The pitch, Murillo running, swing and a miss. Throw to second. Safe, diving in, a steal. Daniel Murillo running on the first pitch. And Murillo steals his 9th of the year.
Well, the Bears being aggressive. They know this is an opportunity. They got the momentum on their side. If Campbell can put one in play here, Bears can regain that lead.
Runner at second, 2 down. Cassius Thomas. The 1-strike pitch to Cade Campbell. Here it comes. And Campbell, fly ball to right, playable for Sell. Moving over toward the line, makes the catch, side retire, but Cal has tied it. The homer from Kennedy. We are knotted at 3, heading to the 8th. Cal and Stanford on this Friday night in Berkeley. Three as we go to the 8th after the homer by Kennedy tied it for Cal. Heart of the order for the Cardinal as Cal goes to the bullpen after 7 strong innings from Oliver De La Torre. He gives up 3 runs on 6 hits, struck out 6. And he walked 2. It's now Garrett Makowiak. The lefty is the lefty specialist. He's only pitched 4 in the 3rd innings. Court McDonald leads it off. He is 0 for 2. And Makowiak drops the breaking ball in there for a strike.
Well, like you said, Makowiak's a specialist, and his job is to get left-handers, so he's got McDonald here with Sasaki on deck.
These are probably the only 2 hitters that he will see. Although there is no activity right now in the bullpen. 1-strike pitch, and McDonald, ground ball to short. Up with it is Kennedy. Throws high to first in the stretch by Murillo, and there's 1 out.
Well, that's 1 big out. He's got 1 more to go here.
And now it is Ritaro Sasaki. As Sasaki has struck out twice tonight, Ritaro Sasaki is 0 for 2, but he's also walked.
And he's also faced Makowiak in this series. Makowiak faced him last night. He was the only hitter that he did face, and he did get him to ground sharply to first.
1 out in the 8th. The overshift on by Cal defensively. With Eric Hard out in shallow right as he blew it by him there. Strike one. The third baseman Campbell is the shortstop now, you see. And then the shortstop Kennedy is on the right side of second base. Outfield is deep, straight up all the way around. Makoviak, the 1-strike pitch. And it's hit sharply on the ground. Into short right. Fielding it is Eric Hart. Throws to first. And safe is Sasaki. The throw pulling Eric Hart off the bag. Or rather, Eric Hart's throw pulling Murillo off the bag. And Sasaki reaches on the error.
Well, it's a fairly tough play for Eric Hart, one that he should make, but the ball was to his left, so when he fielded, he was quite a ways out on the outfield grass, so he knew he had to hurry. So he wasn't able to turn his feet to make that throw, and he just kind of winged his sidearm, and it tailed on him.
Now Chris Bodishbaugh coming out as the right-hander Roach is tuning up in the bullpen. And that will probably be it for Makowiak, and yes, that is. Cal will go to the bullpen here. Here with 1 out in the 8th, and a pitching change. And the freshman righty, Roach, coming on for Cal. 3-3, Bears and Cardinal here in Berkeley. Cal goes to the bullpen. The freshman righty, Trent Roach, who's 1-1 with a save and a 3.14 ERA, takes over. He's had a very good freshman season. Roach, the 6'4" righty from Hollister. 1 out here in the 8th, and a pinch runner for Rintaro Sasaki at first base. Philip Chong is the runner, and the batter is Eric Gion facing Roach. Gion 1 for 3 tonight, the Stanford second baseman. 3-3 in the 8th.
The Cardinal want to win it here.
Roach, ground ball left side, past the diving Campbell, and it's into left. Chong goes to second. And a bounding ball eluding the diving Campbell, and second hit of the night for Eric Gion, and Stanford's got 2 on with 1 out.
Well, to continue that thought, they want to win it right here. They're willing to take out their top power hitter to try to score and win the game here. My thinking was, hey, for 1 extra innings, do you really want to take your top home run threat out? But certainly the Cardinal decided to do that.
J.J. Moran singled and scored in the 7th. He is 1 for 3. 2 on, 1 out. 7 hits now for Stanford as Roach delivers strike 1 to Moran. With 1 out, Sasaki reaching on the error. And now the single by Gion. Roach last pitched at Virginia last weekend. He got the save in the ball game against the Cavaliers. And it called strike last Sunday. 0-2 the count on Moran. He worked the final 2 innings of that game. With a strikeout, did not allow a hit.
He's got to be really cognizant of Cheong out at second. They don't want him stealing third here with only 1 out.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, got him chasing the slider. And on 3 pitches, Moran strikes out, and there's 2 gone. That leaves it up to Nada. Nada, a 2-run homer in the 7th. He is 1 for 3. 2 on, 2 out here in the 8th. Chong at second, Gion at first. Trent Roach. Here's the pitch. And Nadai tips it at the plate. It's 0-1. Activity in the Cal bullpen. Ethan Foley begins to loosen. All quiet down the left field side in the Stanford bullpen. Two on, 2 out in a 3-3 game in the 8th. Roach, a 1-strike pitch, and that eye takes strike 2 called on the outside edge. Good fastball from Roach to the outer half.
Perfect location with that fastball.
Nadai looking into the dugout. I'm not sure what sign he'd be looking for with the count 0-2.
Might have been asking for help.
Runners lead for the Cardinal. Roach, the pitch, and that's way outside. Ball and 2 strikes on Jimmy Nadai. Bottom of the 8th, Cal will have Schmidt, Olmstead, and Eric Hart due. Roach, a long look in. And now he steps off. The disengagement. Ball and 2 strikes on Jimmy Nadai.
This is one of those mano-a-mano situations you love to see in baseball, Roxy.
Trent Roach set. Now the 1-2. Swing and a miss, got him, and a big pump of the fist by Trent Roach, who wiggles out of it and strands 2. Back-to-back strikeouts. We're going to the bottom of the 8th. Knotted at 3, the Bears and the Cardinal in Berkeley. Good to see the Straw Hat Band here in Berkeley tonight. Evans Diamond at Stu Gordon Stadium on this gorgeous Friday night. And a full house to take in Cal and Stanford. Crowd of right around 1,500 for game 2 of this series. 3-3 to the last of the 8th with Jim Darby. And our ACC Network crew, Roxy Bernstein with you. Schmidt, Olmstead, Eric Hart, 5, 6, and 7 for Cal. Against Cassius Thomas. Breaking news, Stanford allows a pitcher to go more than 1 inning. Thomas, who gave up the homer to Kennedy to tie the game in the 7th. And Schmidt golfs the first one. Right side, angling out is Eric Gion. And he drifts with it and makes the catch in shallow right to take care of Schmidt, and there's 1 out. Now it's Lawson Olmstead, who's 1 for 2. He's walked and singled tonight. Here is the Cal DH. Cassius Thomas, only for the stretch. And the right-hander delivers, and Olmstead takes it high. That was the slider from Thomas.
Oh, that was a slider that didn't do anything. Came in at 87. You know, when you throw 93, 94, and then you throw a pitch 87, it's almost like a changeup.
Mighty cut by Olmstead. It's 1-1. Went with the slider again.
Well, his fastball's been 93, 94. The last 2 pitches, 88 and 89. So he is taking something off of it.
1 ball, 1 strike on Olmstead. Thomas, the pitch. And that's inside. Again, took something off. And it's 2-1. Twilight taking over now, and light starting to take effect here in Berkeley. Thomas, the 2-1. Olmstead takes a strike. Tough strike on Olmstead. It's 2-2.
Well, the other strikes were more on the inside part of the plate. That one caught the outside.
And he's gone with a steady diet of sliders here after going mainly fastball previously. 2-2 on Olmstead. Thomas, the pitch. It's fouled off of the plate. Went with the fastball there. And we'll do it again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Houston beat Arizona State tonight to even that series. The Sun Devils right now ranked 22nd. 2 former Bears there with ASU and PJ Moutsaritas and Dominic Smaldino. The pitch. Olmstead fights it off. We'll do it again. Boy, the struggles continue for LSU. The Florida Gators have gone into Baton Rouge at Alex Bach Stadium, and they've won the first 2 of that series. And they beat the Tigers tonight. Florida winning 11-1 over LSU in Baton Rouge. Gators ranked number 9. And that's high to Olmstead, a full count.
Well, I can guarantee you the fans down on the bayou aren't used to seeing that.
And that was a run rule 7-inning game where Florida got 4 in the 7th. And the LSU Tigers continue to fall. The pitch. And Olmstead takes down and away, ball 4. And a 1-out base runner as Olmstead draws the walk. And now Cal will have a pinch runner at first for Olmstead, who walks for the 2nd time tonight. And Olmstead reaches for the 3rd time. And running, it'll be Jackson Norum for Olmstead.
Pinch runner 45. Your attention, please. Now pinch running at first base. Number 45, Jackson Norum.
The freshman running for Olmstead, who had a nice night at the plate with the struggles he's had recently. 1 hit, 2 walks. That's a good night for Lawson Olmstead. Norum running at first. The batter is Ericard, and Thomas fires over. Brady Ericard is 1 for 2. He's singled and hit by a pitch tonight.
Obviously, the Bears want to score here, but just as important, they want to get through this part of their lineup. So if they do still come tied bottom of the 9th, they've got the top of the order up.
Now a mound visit. It's the catcher, Nolan Stoll, heading out to the hill. But the struggles for LSU, they had just 3 hits tonight, Darbs. LSU is now 29-26. They are 9-20 in the SEC.
Well, since the Skip Bertman days, I don't think they've ever seen anything like that. And that the fans down there are not quite as forgiving as they may be out here.
And Jay Johnson, look, he's had a lot of success winning a national title at LSU. But the last couple of years have not gone well for the Tigers. So after the mound visit, the plate umpire, Dylan Bradley, going out to break up the meeting. Oregon State trying to rally, but they trail Air Force 8-5. And you wonder, Oregon State, yes, they're ranked number 7 in the D1 baseball poll, but and now Thomas Eager will visit the mound after one meeting, and now here comes another.
Well, that first one was called for by, from the bench to get the team out there to give somebody a chance to loosen up. And it's hard to believe that Stanford would go to another pitcher, but I think that's what we're going to see.
So Thomas Eager finally arrives at the mound. As Thomas has thrown 24 pitches. As Thomas has worked an inning and a third and giving up a home run. Now here comes again our plate umpire, Dylan Bradley. No signal yet. There doesn't appear to be activity in the bullpen anyways. And now, this is odd. Dylan Bradley walking away. No, it is a pitching change. Okay, there was somebody up. And now Stanford will go to the bullpen. And they summon their 7th pitcher of the night. We're 3-3 in the bottom of the 8th. Cal's got a runner on with 1 out. Cal and Stanford, game 2 of this series on ACC Network Extra. New pitcher for the Cardinal is the freshman righty Colt Peterson. And the 7th hurler for the Cardinal tonight. 1 out, last of the 8th. The pinch runner, Jackson Norum at first. The batter is Brady Ericard. And Peterson has worked 28 1/3 this year. He's 3-1 with a 6.67 ERA. He worked an inning and 2/3 scoreless against St. Mary's with a strikeout in the Stanford win on Tuesday. Right-hander moves and throws to first as Norum dives back. Peterson, a 6', 180 freshman from Orange. Went to Orange Lutheran High School in Southern California. As Brady Ericard digs in. 3-7-0 for the Cardinal, 3-8-2 for the Bears. The pitch. And Ericard takes a strike and a good breaking ball from Peterson.
Huge hole on the right side if Ericard can punch one over there.
First baseman Tokheim holding Norum, and the second baseman Gian shaded up the middle. And they're moved to first.
And Moran, the third baseman, over up by the line, but he's playing deep.
And he's hugging that line over there.
He's hugging the line. He's about 10 feet towards the outfield side of the bag. If Ericart could lay one down, that could be an effective play right here.
One strike pitch, and Ericart swings through another breaking ball. And it's 0-2 on the Cal second baseman. Ethan Kodama waiting on deck for Cal. The pinch runner Norm at first, running for Olmsted. Peterson. The pitch. And that's low and away, backhanded by Stoll. 1-2 the count on Ericart.
Well, he's seen a diet of breaking balls here. Hasn't seen Peterson's heater yet.
Peterson peers in. Norm the lead. Here comes the 1-2. Ericart ground ball right toward the bag at second. Gets through the second baseman, Gian. Gets out into center, rounding second. And Norm tears to third. And a huge break for Cal. The Bears have runners in the corners.
Well, Gian looked like he just overran that ball, Roxy. He had a play on it. But his spikes may have slipped out from under him. I don't know, but it looked like he just overran the ball.
But and he was cheating up the middle, so it was hit in his direction. And not sure if he misjudged in his footing or lost his footing, but all of a sudden he realized, uh-oh, and the ball got underneath him and went out into center.
Well, he couldn't have had a better double play ball hit to him. So that's a huge, obviously, runners at the corners now, one out. Huge break for the Bears, and Ethan Kodama has one job here. Now, the Cardinal are playing their infield at double play depth here with one down. I'm surprised, but they're not bringing them in here in the bottom of the eighth.
Kodama 0 for 3 has struck out twice. It's an air charge to Gian. Runners at the corners. Kodama swing of the first pitch, a fly ball to left, having trouble is Nadai. Now he lines it up, makes the catch, tagging. Norm breaks for the plate. Nadai's throw, not in time. Stumbling across home plate as Norm, and Cal reclaims the lead.
Well, Kodama this time puts the ball in play and drives in the potential winning run there with that fly ball to Nadai. Close play at the plate, but this time the Bears win it.
Sac fly, the 10th batted in on the season for Kodama. Staying at first is Ericart, and now the batter is Gannon Snyder, who is 0 for 3. 4-3 Cal on the sac fly, and the Bears take advantage of the gift, the error by Stanford. Move to first, diving back is Ericart.
So Ethan Kodama certainly vindicated himself there by driving in that run.
It was just deep enough on the fly ball. Popping up a bunt is Snyder. It falls. Picking it up is Stoll. Not in time. Bunt hit for Snyder. Ericart to second. And Snyder trying to catch the Cardinal off guard. And he popped up the bunt. And then with his speed was able to beat it out at first base.
Well, there was a guy that played about 110 years ago named Wee Willie Keeler, and they had a line for him. He said, hit them where they ain't, and that's exactly what he did there. So he bunted it where they weren't, and they caught the Cardinal by surprise on that one.
Now it's Hideki Prather is 2 for 4 tonight with a home run. He's also tripled. Cal looking now for some add-on runs, leading at 4-3 in the last of the 8th inning. And the top of the order in Prather. Peterson the pitch, and Prather takes it high.
Bears would sure love to get a couple of insurance runs here if they can.
1-0 on Prather. If you're looking toward the 9th, Stanford will have 8, 9, and 1 due. Stoll, Sell, and Bates. And if anybody reaches, Tokheim. The 1-0. And that's at the top of the zone, and Prather didn't like it. 1-1.
but significantly, they have Sasaki out of the game.
You would feel better if you're Mike New if you could get at least one more on the board here.
Absolutely.
Ericard at second, Snyder at first. Prather takes up an end, ball 2. 2-1 the count. No activity in the cow pen, so it looks like it'll be Roach's game to try to close. Two balls, one strike. Peterson. The pitch. Popped up by Prather. Foul near the Stanford dugout. Moran and the third baseman puts it away to retire the side. The Bears get one to take the lead. We're going to the ninth. California 4. Stanford 3. We go to the ninth. Cal 4, Stanford 3. And the Golden Bears trying to even the series with a Cardinal. And Trent Roach will face Nolan Stoll, Brock Sell, Charlie Bates. 8-9-1 for the Cardinal in the ninth. Against the right-hander Roach, who wiggled out of that jam in the 8th inning coming in. Nolan Stoll is 0 for 2 with a walk. And the pitch is strike one of the knees to the freshman catcher for the Cardinal. Ethan Foley is loosening just in case in the Cal bullpen. One strike pitch is fouled back. 0-2 as Roach jumps ahead of Stoll.
Now, this is one where you don't want to be nibbling. You got 2 strikes on, go after him.
0-2, Roach. The windup and the pitch. Ground ball back through the middle, and it goes into center, and Stanford has a leadoff single to open up the ninth.
Well, it was a good pitch. It got him right on the fist, but he had just enough, and it was in the right place. It goes into center field for a base hit.
Leadoff base runner, and Stanford looks like they'll have a runner for Stoll at first base. And Brock Sell, the hitter, he homered in the 7th. He is 1 for 3 tonight, the 9-hitter. And now David Esker has you thinking on the other side. We saw him sacrifice earlier in the game. And you're playing for a run to try to tie it here. Everything is in play from an offensive perspective for the Cardinal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Stoll, I thought they were putting in a pinch runner, but they're just having a conference there, so Stoll may still be... Nope, they're going to have a pinch runner.
And running at first base, it is Rashad Hayes, the freshman from Bishop O'Dowd over here in Oakland. Leadoff single, and now Hayes running for Stoll, and the batter is Sell. He's squaring, Roach the pitch, and bunted. Fielded by Roach, has one play, underhands to Murillo for the out. And the sacrifice moving Hayes to second.
You know, Roxy, if I am Cal, I'm saying, hey, that's fine. Takes away the stolen base, at least a second. Now, Roach has to be very careful here with Bates coming up to the plate, because he's got to keep an eye on Hayes at second base. They do not want to let him steal third.
And keep in mind, Tokheim looming on deck for Stanford. Bates singled back in the first, an infield hit. He is 1 for 4. And time is called. Here comes Chris Bodishbaugh, the Cal pitching coach, out to the mound. Foley has been warming. We'll see what Cal elects to do. The bullpen gate is open, but no signal has gone to the bullpen yet. And now they will.
Well, Foley has been their closer, so I'm not surprised with this move. Roach did a good job. He got out of the inning, you know, last inning with a tough situation. This inning gave up a seeing eye single and then got the out. So nice job by Roach, and now they hand the ball over to Foley to try to close this one out.
They summon the senior, try to protect a 4-3 lead. A runner at second, 1 out of the ninth. Cal clinging to the lead, 4-3 over the Cardinal. New pitcher is Ethan Foley. 1 out in the ninth. 4-3 Cal. Pinch runner Rashad Hayes at second base for Stanford. The batter is going to be Charlie Bates. After 1 inning from Trent Roach, and now it's Foley, who's 4-3 with a couple of saves, who's bounced back and forth between the bullpen and the rotation. And now trying to close it out here. Bates 1 for 4, an infield hit back in the first. The senior righty Foley. The pitch. And that's ball 1. 91 from Foley. So Rashad Hayes running as Nolan Stoll singled the lead off the inning, was bunted to second. Foley. Here comes the 1-0 pitch, and that's high. 2-0 the count on Bates. Foley picked up a couple of saves here in the series victory over Louisville. Pitched at Virginia last Sunday, started against the Cavaliers. The 2-0 pitch, and it's 3-0 as Foley missing upstairs. He went 4 innings against Virginia, giving up 4 runs on 7 hits. Won his previous start. He beat Virginia Tech here a couple of weeks ago Sunday. Who was in the bullpen prior to that, now moving back into the rotation, one more time in the bullpen. The 3-0 to Bates, and Foley misses inside. He walks him on 4, and Stanford has 2 on, and the dangerous Tokheim coming up.
Well, it could be worse. Obviously, you don't want to put the potential lead run at first. On the other hand, now you're in a double play position. If they can get a ground ball to the infield, they can turn it and win this game.
Tokheim 1 for 4, doubled in the 6th. He reached on an error in the 4th. Hayes at second, Bates at first. 1 out in the 9th. Ethan Foley. The pitch. And that's low. He's missed with all 5 since coming in.
Well, he doesn't want to get behind too much to Tokheim, because then he's going to have to come into the big power hitter.
The freshman from Seattle, Tokheim. The 1-0. Ball hit in the air, left center field. Schmidt going back. Has room, and he gives way to Kadamo, cuts behind him and makes the catch.
Wow.
Never a dull moment around here.
Never a dull moment. You know, you wonder, are they hearing each other? You know, obviously the center fielder is always the captain.
You also wonder if it confused the runners, because Hayes looked baffled at second base there, as confused as everybody else was.
Well, yeah,
normally a guy cuts in front of the guy. He just went behind him.
He wasn't going to be tagging up. So, but if he was, then he would have been looking who's catching the ball, because it's an easier throw for the center fielder.
Now it's Court McDonald, 2 on, 2 out. Foley, ball 1. The crowd of about 1,500, all rising around Evans Diamond at Stu Gordon Stadium.
Foley's thrown 6 pitches, only 1 strike, but he's got the out that he needed.
Hayes at second, Bates at first. Foley. Here comes the 1-0. Swing and a miss. Might have swung at ball 2.
He swung at ball 2. That ball was a sinker tailing away from him that was down the zone, but McDonald swung over it.
And a mighty cut by McDonald. Court McDonald is 0 for 3, sacrificed in the 4th. Lined into a double play in the 1st and grounded out in the 6th and the 8th. Pitch just high from Foley.
Well, Prather tried to bring that one back down into the zone, but no go. So, again, Foley throwing from behind, and that's one thing you don't want to do here with these runners on first and second.
2 on, 2 out. Ethan Foley. The 2-1 pitch, and that's low. It's 3-1. On deck for Stanford would be the spot for Sasaki, as they ran for him in the 8th. Ethan Foley. Here comes the 3-1. And that's in there at the knees, and it's a strike, and in disbelief, McDonald was getting ready to throw the bat away and has a couple of words for Dylan Bradley, our plate umpire.
Well, it was questionable. Cal may have gotten a break there.
Full count, 2 down. Runners will go on the pitch. Foley, here it comes. Swing and a foul straight back. Henry McDonald has moved into the on-deck circle for Stanford.
You know, key thing you just mentioned, runners are going on the full count. So if there is a base hit, those outfielders are going to have to get to that ball quickly and get it in quickly.
Hayes at second, Bates at first. 3-2 to McDonald. Swing and another foul back to the screen. As McDonald fighting off a couple pitches, that was 92 from Foley.
Think heart rates have gone up here at the Stew?
It's great to see the stadium full. Everybody into the pitch after pitch after pitch, and a gorgeous night for baseball. 3-2. Here it comes. Runners go. Swing and a miss. Foley struck him out, and Callis won the ball game.
What a finish. What a ball game.
Ethan Foley lands the plane. He walked the tightrope in the ninth. And Cal is even this series after Stanford a 1-run win last night. Cal comes back, and they capitalize an unearned run at the bottom of the 8th. And they pick up win number 28 on the year. And Cal 4, Stanford 3, Roach the winner. The save goes to Foley. And the unearned run charge to Thomas, who suffers the loss. But a much-needed Cal victory to even this series. Cal fell behind last night, battled back tonight. They had the lead, gave it up, but found a way to get the win.
Well, they sure did, and you just said it. A huge, huge win for the Bears, and certainly sets up the rubber match tomorrow. But you got to give credit to the Cal pitching again tonight. Oliver De La Torre was sensational. Yes, he gave up a couple of home runs there in the 7th, but he pitched them deep into the ball game, which they needed. And then, of course, the guys came in after that and did the job. Certainly Foley getting that save.
So Cal now 28-25, and the Golden Bears improved to 11-18 in ACC play. Stanford falls to 27-24. They are 13-16 in the ACC. The winning pitcher, Trent Roach, is 2-1. Cassius Thomas now 1-3, takes the loss. And save number 3 to Ethan Foley. Home runs hit. Hideki Prather hit his 13th. Jet Kennedy tied the game in the 7th, hitting his 11th of the year. While for Stanford, Jimmy Nadai hit a 2-run shot, his 7th, and number 2 for Brock Sell. But the homer by Kennedy when Cal trailed 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th tied the game. And the error in the 8th opened the door. And Jackson Norum, running for Lawson Olmsted, who walked with 1 out in the 8th, scored the winning run on a sac fly by Ethan Kodama. And the Golden Bears even the series with Stanford. The series and regular season finale tomorrow, 3 o'clock, with the first pitch here at Evans Diamond at Stu Gordon Stadium. We'll have it for you on ACC Network Extra and ESPN Plus. Gavin Eddy gets the ball for Cal. The ACC Pitcher of the Week will take it for Cal tomorrow to try to win this series and finish on a high note for Cal, giving momentum to the Golden Bears into the ACC tournament.
Absolutely. And, you know, Eddie's been the guy. You just mentioned ACC Pitcher of the Week. Last week, he's been solid all year. But I also want to give a shout-out to Ethan Kodama because he's the one who put wood on the ball to drive in that winning run. 2 innings before, he had struck out with the bases loaded, taking a called third strike. So, you know, he vindicated himself there and got, you know, he'll remember that one forever, Rock, till he drove in the winning run against the Cardinals.
In front of a crowd of about 1,500 here in Berkeley tonight, the Golden Bears even this series with Stanford. The Cardinal winning game 1, 7-6 tonight. Cal returns the favor with a 1-run win by a final score of 4-3. You're not with me tomorrow. This is our swan song for the year.
This is our swan song, my friend, and I sure have had a ball calling the games with you.
Fun season for you. We got one more. Steve Kroner will join me tomorrow for the regular season finale before the Golden Bears head to Charlotte for the ACC tournament. But a nice win for Mike New and the Cal Bears tonight. Here, it was a little interesting, got a little hairy there in the ninth. But Ethan Foley found a way to slam the door. and strike out Court McDonald to end the ballgame.
Yeah, he sure did, and he battled back because I think he was struggling a little bit with his release point. Walked the batter there, and bowed his neck after giving up the ground ball single. So you know what? Nice job by Foley. That's why he's the closer, and that's why the Bears won this game tonight.
One last check of the totals for California. The Golden Bears win it. 4 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors. They strand 9. For the Cardinal, 3 runs, 8 hits with an error. They also strand 9. Roach the winner. The loss goes to Thomas, and Foley gets save number 3. 3 o'clock tomorrow, the regular season finale. Hope it's a beautiful day, and it was a gorgeous night here tonight in Berkeley. And also hope we have another full house like we had tonight.
Absolutely.
This was great to see.
Man, I'll tell you, when you see the stands filled here, this is the best crowd I've seen here. You mentioned it since they put the lights in 2013. So seeing that excitement, so many young kids here rooting on the Bears. Yeah, this was a great night of baseball here at Cal.
And hopefully everybody comes back tomorrow.
They're welcome.
That'll do it from Berkeley for this Friday night. For my partner, Jim Darby. And for Dave Pullman, the executive producers of California Baseball, Alex Wheat and Kyle McCrae. Special thank you to Daniel Mobus Bowles as well, Sports Information Director for Baseball at California. So for Darbs, Dave Pullman up top, our great crew. Roxy Bernstein saying so long from Berkeley. Again, the final tonight. It was the Golden Bears 4, Stanford 3.